Hey, what's up, everybody? And we're back today for another movie review. Now, today we're reviewing the film Palmer, which is going to be dropping January 29th on Apple TV Plus. This film stars Justin Timberlake. And yep, that's right, folks. Justin Timberlake is the reason why I watched this film. Before I even knew what this film was about, before I even watched the trailer, Justin Timberlake name on the film, I was like, definitely checking this out. I've been a fan of Justin Timberlake, not just musically, but theatrically, ever since Alpha Dog. And somehow, some way, Justin Timberlake just gets himself in the roles I just tend to find enjoyable. He also does something too, I also realize, is that he always tends to have a sex scene in every film that he does. No, I'm not watching films to watch Justin Timberlake have sex, but it is noted that every time he has a film, he somehow manages to have a sex scene. And it didn't take long for him to do that in this film. But this film was it was spectacular because I say spectacular because what happens in the film, the plot and everything, it is very predictable. But I just thought the performances was really well done. I love a good feel-good story filled with a ton of emotional performances. But the reason why I thought this film was spectacular because it wasn't Justin Timberlake that wowed me. It was the little kid, the little 7-year-old Ryder Allen, who performance, if I'm not mistaken, is his debut performance on the big screen. Mind-blowingly good. This little kid, every scene that this little kid is on is must watch. So much charisma in that little body, and just so much talent, so much poise. It's just so enjoyable. And I have to say too, Justin Timberlake, besides him just taking roles that just truly fits him, not that I think Justin Timberlake is one of the best actors, but I think he takes roles that make sense for him. But not only that, when he is paired with somebody, it always seems to make sense to me. I don't actually ever think that there's been a film that Justin Timberlake's been in and the co-star, they had no continuity with each other. Like it's never awkward. It just, the pairings always work up and down the board with him. So much like that. And another thing I'll say is too, I feel like when he's paired with somebody, like he elevates them. And I feel like this little boy, this 7-year-old boy, Ryder Allen, fantastic performance. Really, really good job. And it was enjoyable the entire time. And somehow, some way, Justin Timberlake did manage to sneak in some funny moments. Well, we'll get to that in a second. But what's happening in this film is Justin Timberlake plays Eddie Palmer. Eddie Palmer is fresh out of jail after doing 12 years in the state. Before then, he was a high school star in a small town, Louisiana, and everybody knew who he was. He went to college, and his life was looking really, really promising until he made that one mistake that cost him 12 years of his life. Now that he's back, he's trying to get back on his feet. He's back in Louisiana. He's moved back into his grandma's house, and he's really trying to stay under the radar. But the mistakes of his past definitely haunts him and catches up to him because it's a small town. Everyone knows who he is. He was a major star coming out of the town. Everyone knows about the story of him going to jail and what happened. With that being said, he forms this unlikely bond and friendship with Sam, who's played by Ryder Allen, the 7-year-old boy who is a target of bullying and he's brought up in a troubled home, which is, believe it or not, it's made some comparisons between the two, as Eddie Palmer upbringing was very similar. So the two of them, they just formed this bond that they didn't really come see out of nowhere. Where Eddie Palmer is doing whatever he can to support this kid, to essentially raising him. So, that's pretty much the premise of the film. While all this is happening, Justin Timberlake's character, again, Palmer, forms a relationship with the teacher, Maggie, who's, been another good positive influence in Sam's life. And at the same time, too, kind of trying to keep Palmer in a very moral compass of things, because trouble is continuing to lure for him, and he's doing his best to stay away from it. With that being said, I have to mention too that Sam's mother, Shelly, played by Juno Temple, does a fantastic job. Now, I have to just tell you this, I don't think it's much of a surprise, but the mother is an addict and truly struggling with custody and just parenting with Sam. Juno's performance as this mother is so convincing. I almost forgot anything else she's ever done. To the point that I was like, she might legitimately be an addict in real life. Like, really, really, really good performance. Going back to the teacher, Maggie, who's played by Alisha Wainwright, who I love her smile. I think she also brings in another element to this film that just complements the cast as well, too. Again, the cast up and down the board, everyone does a good job. There's a ton, an array of emotional performances. And I had to fight back tears at times. I can't even lie. And it's truly a feel-good story. I love a good feel-good story. I really, really do. But like I said, like in this film, the events that take place, the progression throughout the film, it is predictable. It's not even a question. You know what's going to happen. Like I don't think I was wrong about anything at any point, to be honest. But again, I enjoyed it because it was a feel-good and like the performances is just that. I was so invested into the performances. Again, Ryder Allen, every time this kid was on screen, I was like, what is he going to say? What is he going to do? So much charisma in that little body. It's just a good time. And then obviously Justin Timberlake. But with that being said, speaking of Justin Timberlake, he sneaks in some comedic moments in here as well, too. Some really laughable frustrations, ones that are very relatable that you definitely will think that you will react in the same way that he did in certain times. It's a really good film, very heartfelt. Justin Timberlake even turns up at some points. Like he gets crunk at some points. Like it's always good to see that level of aggression out of him because like one, we know he's a really nice person, but at the same time it's like, well, can he actually perform in that manner on a big screen and be convincing? So indeed he had some of those scenes and they were definitely entertaining. But with that being said, Palmer, dropping on Apple TV Plus January 29th. You gotta check this film out, folks. I don't know if this was on your radar. I did not initially see this, but like if you're not a Justin Timberlake fan, then like definitely check it out. But if you are a Justin Timberlake fan, I know it's not even a question when you're gonna check it out. So, but anyway, let me know in the comments what you thought about this film, folks. I'll see you around for another review very soon.